Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. You know that feeling? You're out maybe having a drink or two, everything seems fine, but then later, maybe when you get home, things just feel a little off, weird even, like you're suddenly starving, or maybe a bit snappy, short-tempered, definitely not feeling sharp mentally. And then the next day, forget about being productive. You're just dragging yourself around, can't seem to concentrate, and all you're really thinking about is grabbing some comfort food. Well, it turns out that what's going on there isn't just the alcohol itself. It's offer this hidden blood sugar roller coaster that alcohol seems to love conducting. So today, let's talk about the science behind how that evening drink can throw your blood sugar into, well, disarray. This is what can lead to those really rough crashes, those strange cravings. Sometimes that underlying anxiety you can't quite place, and definitely the energy slumps that seem to hang around way longer than any buzz dip. It's actually surprising how often this connection just flies under the radar. You know, you have a drink, you feel a bit off afterwards, or maybe the next day, and you just kind of accept it as part of the deal. But there's a real physiological reason behind it. So our goal today is to understand this unseen chaos a little better, see what's actually happening inside your body, and maybe, just maybe, find some ways to make that ride a bit less bumpy. Now, why should you care about blood sugar if you don't have diabetes? Well, here's the thing. Even if your blood sugar regulation is usually pretty solid, alcohol can still mess things up. Seriously. And when your blood sugar goes on one of these wild rides, it can set off a whole chain reaction. Think about it, right? Your mood can suddenly plummet. Your sleep can go completely haywire. Maybe you get that tired but wired feeling. Can't sleep even though you're exhausted. Cravings for, let's be honest, unhealthy foods often go through the roof, and your brain just feels like it's moving to thick mud. Brain fog. So if you ever wondered why you feel inexplicably out of sorts after even just a small amount of alcohol, this blood sugar connection is likely a really key piece of that puzzle. Okay, so let's break down how alcohol actually disrupts your blood sugar balance. It generally happens in about three main stages. First stage, your blood sugar drops. See, when you have an alcoholic drink, your liver, which is usually fantastic at managing your blood glucose levels, suddenly has a new, urgent priority: processing that alcohol, detoxifying it. It kind of puts glucose regulation on the back burner for a while, and as a result, your blood sugar levels can start to fall, sometimes quite quickly. When that happens, you might feel shaky, maybe a little dizzy. You could get those suddenly intense cravings, maybe become unexpectedly irritable, and that classic brain fog often rolls right in. Okay, so that's the initial drop. What happens next? Stage two. Well, often after the initial effects of the alcohol start to wear off, or, and this is a big one, if you've had sugary mixers or carb-heavy snacks while drinking, or maybe afterwards, that late night peeps or chips, your blood sugar then often swings way up in the opposite direction. It spikes. This is basically your body trying to overcorrect for that initial drop. It's like a pendulum swing too far the other way. And then comes stage three, the almost inevitable crash that follows the spike. The next day arrives. Maybe you're in full hangover mode, maybe just feeling you feel exhausted, right? But you also have this really strong craving for carbs, for sugary stuff. That's your body still desperately trying to find its balance again. But it's kind of stuck in this up and down cycle that the alcohol kicked off. So basically, alcohol can turn your normally steady blood sugar into this crazy roller coaster mode. It goes way up, then plummets down, maybe spikes again, leaving your brain and your body feeling completely drained and just confused. So how do you know if you've been on this particular roller coaster after a night out? There are some pretty clear signs you could look out for. Do you ever find yourself really, really wanting sugar or loads of carbs the day after drinking? That's a big one. Or maybe you wake up in the middle of the night, say between 2 and 4 a.m., heart kind of racing, feeling a bit anxious for no obvious reason. What about that morning grogginess that just refuses to lift, or feeling really irritable, brain fog so thick you feel like you can barely string a sentence together, or just trouble focusing on anything? How about intense hunger pangs that seem to hit out of nowhere, or maybe feeling emotionally all over the place, up and down? And then there's sometimes just this unexplained anxiety that can sort of creep in. If any of that sounds familiar, please know it's not just in your head. It's not you being weak. These are real physiological responses to those blood sugar fluctuations we've been talking about. It's your body reacting. Now, while an occasional night out might seem pretty harmless, this repeated blood sugar instability from, say, regular drinking even if it's just a couple of times a week, that can actually lead to some longer term problems down the road. Over time, your body can start to become more resistant to insulin. Not good. You might also see an increase in cortisol levels, that's your main stress hormone, which can mess with your whole system. Your other hormones can get thrown out of balance too, which can make managing cravings even harder. And you might find yourself feeling just constantly tired, chronically fatigued, even if you think you're getting enough sleep. The really frustrating thing is, this can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter how fit you are or how healthy you usually eat. Alcohol has its own unique way of disrupting this delicate internal balance. Okay, so what can you actually do about it? That's the important part, right? Well, the good news is you don't necessarily have to completely avoid alcohol forever to lessen some of these blood sugar crashes. There are definitely smarter ways to approach drinking and support your body so those downswings aren't quite so severe. Probably one of the most important things, honestly. Make sure you eat something before you start drinking. And I don't just mean any old snack. Try to focus on foods that release energy slowly. Think protein, fiber, and healthy fats. That helps stabilize things from the start. Then, when you're choosing your drinks, maybe skip those super sugary cocktails or mixers. They just add extra fuel to that blood sugar fire. Opting for simpler drinks like spirits with soda water or dry wines generally means less added sugar. You might also find it surprisingly helpful to take a short walk after you've been drinking. Doesn't have to be a marathon, just some gentle movement can actually help your body regulate blood sugar levels better. And this one is absolutely crucial. Stay hydrated. Drink water. Alcohol is really dehydrating, and dehydration itself can make those blood sugar crashes feel even worse. So keep sipping water alongside or between alcoholic drinks. Beyond those immediate strategies, there are also some specific nutrients that can really help your body recover and get back on track more quickly. One really important one is vitamin B12. Specifically, the methylcobalamin form is great. The alcohol can interfere with how your body absorbs and actually uses B12. And this vitamin is absolutely essential for energy production and good brain function. So low B12 can definitely contribute to that lingering fatigue, those mood swings, and that foggy brain feeling after drinking. Replenishing your B12 levels can genuinely help you recover faster and think more clearly. Another really great support nutrient is milk thistle. Remember how we talked about the liver working overtime to process alcohol, putting blood sugar management on hold? Well, the whole system can get pretty overloaded. Milk thistle is an herb that's been shown to help protect liver cells. It can also help reduce inflammation in the liver and support healthy detoxification pathways. So by supporting your liver's health with something like milk thistle, you're helping your body get your blood sugar back in the balance more efficiently. You're helping prevent it from staying stuck on that chaotic up and down loop for quite as long. So who is this information really relevant for? Honestly, if you're someone who just feels kind of off after drinking, whether that's a strange physical feeling, noticeable brain fog, or just being really tired the next day, this is probably for you. If you're maybe trying to cut back on alcohol but still want better recovery strategies for the times you do choose to have a drink, this is definitely relevant. If you've noticed that alcohol seems to really impact your focus, your mood, or definitely your sleep quality, pay attention to this connection. And maybe if you're just plain tired of feeling like you're on this unpredictable blood sugar roller coaster after drinking and you haven't really understood why, hopefully this discussion has provided some, clarity. The main takeaway here, really, is that alcohol has a pretty significant impact on your blood sugar. And it's a connection that's often missed or just brushed off. So if you're feeling less than your best after even a moderate night out, please know that you are not imagining things. It's real. Your body is literally trying to stabilize itself after that internal chemical roller coaster ride. Now, you don't necessarily need to stop drinking entirely if you enjoy it responsibly. But by understanding what's happening inside and by taking some of these proactive steps we talked about to support your body, you can definitely lessen the chaos, reduce the severity of the after effects, and recover more quickly so you can get back to feeling like yourself again faster. Maybe take a moment to think about your own experiences after drinking. Do any of these patterns, these feelings sound familiar? It's really all about understanding your own body just a little bit better. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.